Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of now Teslafy Full Self-Driving. This is on Beta 11.4.4. This is actually from a few weeks ago, but I figured it was still worth sharing. I had Beta take us to the Point Defiance Zoo in Tacoma, Washington, and I'm not entirely familiar with this area too much, so I let Beta do its thing for the most part and thought it was an interesting drive to be able to kind of share what it's like having Beta take you in an area that you're not entirely familiar with. And I think as a Beta pilot, we interact with Beta a little bit differently when we're not familiar with the area. Here we're seeing right out the gate some timidness at stop intersections. It was very clear both directions, didn't have any need to be as hesitant as it was, and it still took its time moving through. Although here we can see it does a really good job. Traffic passes no problem. And then while it's a little bit slow to make this turn, it still makes it and was moving in that direction as soon as it probably should have been. So thank you so much for watching. I want to shout out my subs real quick. Some of my new ones. Welcome to the channel. Kickflip619, Daniel D, Curtis B, Beast B saying, "What's up, my boy?" And Steady, ST3ADY. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. Means a lot, and I really appreciate it. If you enjoy this video, please consider giving me a thumbs up. And if you find anything interesting, please leave a comment below. And if you are looking to get a Tesla, be sure to use my referral link below and get up to $1,000 off. And right now, you can get 3 months of full self-driving Beta if you make your purchase using my referral link. So we both get some goodies. I get some coins, which allow me to purchase some cool Tesla goodies as well. You get some money off and some full self-driving. So a pretty good deal. Anyway, let's get on with the drive. All right, here is one of the probably the worst interactions, if you will. Boom, Tesla stopped really quickly and really far back. I mean, all of us in the cabin moved forward, and it took us all by surprise. I don't know why it did that. I couldn't tell from the visualization anywhere, even in here in post, why it would have stopped so short. It wasn't like we had a car coming like we saw there. And certainly the stop line was much further up. So, but then it kind of Beta redeems itself a little bit by moving away from this car getting into the suicide lane there. So that was just a really awkward and kind of bad interaction with that really short, full, hard stop. And then as soon as we were able to get that green arrow to make our left turn, it moves out of the way of that car that was moving into the suicide lane. So interesting interaction there. And that's probably the most interesting one for this particular drive. Wasn't particularly challenging of a course, but it made it nonetheless. And yeah, so let's continue on. All right, so here we are making our way to the exit from the highway, the interstate, to our exit. We were obviously in the full left lane here, and Beta does a really good job making it over the 2 lanes necessary in order to make the exit. Again, not super challenging. It was light traffic, so it would have been obviously a bit more of a challenge with more traffic, but it did just fine, and then certainly makes the exit without issue. So, you know, pretty good behavior there, being able to cross that many lanes of traffic in order to make our exit. also pretty timid. Again, we were at a full stop, and you see we get the creep line. It starts to creep, nobody's in the intersection, and then finally decides to make the turn. So again, exhibiting more of that timidness at those intersections, especially four-way stops, where, I mean, luckily we didn't have a lot of traffic again to interact with at the intersection, but that can be really confusing at a four-way if your car's got forward momentum, then stops to take a look around the corner or whatever Tesla needs to do, or make it to creep line, etc., and just can cause some confusion on, are you taking a turn or are you not? That's been pretty consistent, I've seen, with the last version as well as this one as well. Four-way stops are still a bit of a challenge. All right, and as we made it into the zoo area, if you will, this is pretty much Zoo Road here we're seeing. Slower traffic, again, not a lot of traffic, but slower roads, and Beta does really good just navigating some of these kind of off-city street roads, and does a pretty good job. And about to disengage here before we get into the parking lot. Overall, with the issues with the timidness, not a big deal. That stop at the beginning was probably the biggest thing that was very awkward. But by and large, disengagement-free drive. I did have a few accelerator presses at some of those intersections, and I probably did some speed adjustment on the highway, etc. But hey, Beta took us all the way to the zoo without issue, and that's pretty awesome, especially for an area I'm not entirely familiar with. So that will do it for this particular episode. We will catch you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Now Teslafy.